Kevin Frazier sensed that Austin was still withholding ish. He wasn't coming clean.
Right.
And he pressed him a little bit about what was in his mind.
Yes.
And Austin was indignant.
Yeah, he got offended. The reason why he got offended was because he felt like Kevin was questioning his integrity. Well, guess what? He was. Because up until that point, he didn't feel like you had shown any.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts.
Today, we're going to be talking about Lifetime Network's reality-based TV series, Married at First Sight, season number 17, Denver Reunion, Part 1.
Foolishness and skullduggery. I made up my own word. Foolduggery continues with Austin and Becca.
Wow.
Becca opened and said that, Austin was not for her and she was not for him.
Yeah, and she also had the nerve to say he didn't know what was real and what was not real.
Yeah, she claimed that she wants a husband who desires her, one who puts her first, who is honest with her. Has she been honest? You attract who you are. She said someone who doesn't lie to her. Austin has a whole lot of growing up to do. Well, quiet as it's kept, so do you, baby girl.
Oh, you talking to him
You got some growing up to do.
Yes, indeed.
Because your crew who are like in high school, you call yourself some badass bitches. You want to pretend that you're something that you're not. What we have seen is adult women aligning themselves with some foolduggery and then pretending that they want something real and authentic to spring out of that.
And finger pointing at the end of it because they, for some reason, don't understand that they were part of
a lie.
Right, a lie that came full circle.
And take no accountability, no responsibility for what occurred. Because out of your mouth came these words. Austin and I used to talk about what we would say on camera when we were off camera. That you were living a fantasy lie, which you admitted to with Austin. Because nothing real comes out of a fantasy. A fantasy is a lie. A fantasy is a aberration in your head. A fantasy is not steeped in reality.
Yeah, for sure. Let me get into Austin for a little bit because for his part, he actually had the gonads, cojones, nuts, whatever you want to call them, to admit to Kevin that, yeah, I was myself. When? Huh? What day? What hour?
When he was asleep.
Now that I believe. Talk to him. Okay. He also said that it was a lot for him to have to deal with filming days. Well, that's what you signed up for, man.
And it would not have been a lot had he
been
presented authentic. But it's difficult when you speak lies and you got to remember the continuation of that lie.
Right.
That usually happens.
And Becca used to always say, that Austin is one person on camera and he's a different person off camera.
But that's when she started telling the truth.
How about that?
So Becca claims that she wanted intimacy from him.
Right.
And he said he wanted the same thing. But let's say the proof is in the pudding. Promised to have intimate situation going on with her when they went to the retreat. That didn't manifest itself.
Right, because
sleeping with her, he slept in the football player's bedroom.
Right, and said you can come join me if you want to, but that's not how brothers who
really after want a warm place to put it. That's not what they roll with.
Who want to smash, and they ain't trying to do all of that. Not trying to put up roadblocks there.
She said that one time they were kissing and he pushed her away from him. He called her a horny somebody.
A horny woman, yeah.
Something like that. Asked them whether they can take a shower together with their swimsuits on. He didn't want to do that. However, Junior was following around the producer.
Oh.
Basically, you all know the business of how this stuff rolls. Junior
Had different ideas.
had a different idea of who he wanted to stay with on decision night. That wasn't Becca.
Oh.
That was the producer. He was more in line with the producer than her. So why is she now telling us that, oh, she was broken up, and Kevin with the nonsense that she looked like she was suffering? You're suffering because you aligned yourself with full duggery, and the consequences thereof was coming on you. Because you realized that you were living in a world of fantasy. This man didn't care a whole lot for you. You recognized that, and it was painful because you didn't understand that full duggery leads to even more full duggery, which will come back on you.
And let me say this for his part, Austin, he can claim from now until the end of time that, you know, it normally takes for him 3 to 6 months for him to kind of move to that point once he starts dating somebody for him to be intimate with that person. Okay. All right. Let me say now here's the thing. Okay. He can claim that all he wants to, but I tell you what, I bet you if you ask Junior if that was his time frame, he'd be like, hmm.
We haven't seen who the producer is, but based on Austin's actions, which irritated Becca to no end, clearly he liked what the producer was offering up.
Okay. Yeah, that was the reason why they went out, I guess. But presumably, yeah.
Well, they presumably went out in a group with Brennan and what have you. But do men wait 3 to 6 months unless they're committed to someone and know that this is the one and they want to get married? Tell the truth.
And shame the devil.
Shame the devil. There'll be no.
Hell no.
I don't know what Austin is all about.
He's all about that ish, throwing that ish and see what sticks up against the wall, I guess, because that's what he was putting forth.
They all have shown themselves to be deceitful people and who put on a sketch for this season of Married at First Sight.
And then he tried to rationalize it and say, well, to Kevin, well, we did have intimacy, emotional intimacy, but we had it nonetheless, and that we did try to do some things and you know, in the bedroom. Typically speaking, okay, that's something that a woman attaches a lot of value to, not brothers. Okay,
I'm not saying that men don't have emotional intimacy, but that's when they're committed, want to get with someone. They ain't thinking about they're locked in and focused on that person.
When it's when it's new, it's first, and they ain't thinking about that emotional intimacy.
A one place to put it. Because a lot of people think that fugazi is reality, but it's not. If you align yourself and participate in duggery, that is what is going to become your reality. And that comes with confusion, dishonesty, and a whole lot of deception and lies.
And then what he did was at the very least disingenuous. Is he tried to rationalize it by saying, "Well, it takes a while for me to, you know, build intimacy."
And how did she find that out? She claimed that she asked him what his timetable was and she never got it.
Right.
She found that on watching Keisha when he told her it's 3 to 6 months. But he never shared that important piece
on an after party episode, right? Come on. And he actually thinks that we're gonna buy into this. And she actually thinks that we're gonna buy into this. Show your ride, like the late great Chuck Brown, Godfather of Go-Go used to say, show your ride.
Becca said that when she started telling the truth, he told her that he is going to say yes on decision day no matter what. And he said, no, that wasn't the point. He wanted to get remarried with his friends and family.
Again, another excuse. Okay. I'm just saying to you and the rest of the viewers out there, I ain't buying none of this horse manure. Austin did admit to having an inappropriate relationship.
He had a connection with the producers that was stronger than with Becca. because the producer, relationship with the producer was based in reality, doing a reality show.
Right.
The stuff with Becca was made up. It was lines. It grew, was planted and rooted out of the swamp.
Right, but
So I'm not sure why she had an expectation that this was gonna become real.
Exactly. It couldn't. It had no chance from the very
No
beginning.
chance whatsoever. Just like Michael went up to decision day and no further, they all went up to decision day and no further.
And Becca finally, eventually, just came out and said it to Kevin that, from her vantage point, Austin was never really ready to be married to her.
And her hope is that he would admit it. He's not going to.
Right.
He's not going to. So just keep it
Optics.
moving.
Optics.
And going forward, remember that this trying to deceive someone, deceive an audience, deceive experts who put their work and time in is not going to be beneficial for your good mental health. She claims that she is not dating, but she's taking care of herself. And he claimed that he is dating casually, but he has moved on.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Kevin ask the question about, is there any chance of reconciliation? And Becca said no, because I don't trust him. And, I understand that he's got to find his right person and so forth and so on. And I think there's somebody out there, right, who's for him, but I don't trust him, so I got to move on. But when she went backstage and they hugged in the dressing room, didn't they?
Listen, I don't care at this point.
Clearly.